they feel that you're not going to find it.
Well, I did find it, and I felt something near my scrotum area, the left area, and I looked down at it. That's when I didn't have a bad back, and I was a young boy. I can kind of look around, and I saw this lump thing in there. But the most mysterious thing I found, in which my mom, I explained to her later, that I was able to push it out. It took me about 5-7 minutes to push it out of this hole. There was a little cut, about 1/4 of an inch or so long, and I saw that it was red. It still didn't heal. Apparently, I found another implant that was red, and they don't seem to heal really fast. If you look real close, if you find little red marks or little red holes, that's where an implant has been put. And I squeezed this thing out through that little hole. I got it, and it was tan in color, and it looked like a small M&M, and it was disc-shaped. And as I held it in my hand, it started turning brown. I showed it to my mom, and my mom, of course, back then they didn't know much about UFO research. She said, "Throw that thing away. That's nothing but an ingrown, blackhead or something." I said, "No, Mom." I said, "There was a hole next to it, and that's how I got it out. Blackheads don't have a little surgical hole or anything like that." And I was kind of too young to have those types of things anyway, that type of skin thing, the blackhead there in that area. So that was my first implant, and I threw it away. And of course, like I said, at that age, I didn't have any thoughts about keeping it or anything. But I did try to keep another one that I had, but it disintegrated over time. But I got some pictures of it, but it disintegrated. That's how they're made. You get them out, they disintegrate real quick. They change colors, and they just disappear.
Now, like Timothy Cullen, now his implant was removed by Dr. Roger Lear, and I have pictures of it, and it looked like a miniature grain of, I would say rice almost. It was metallic. It was, when they sent it out to be analyzed at the time, it was compounded with a silver-based metal, but according to the lab report, if I remember right, it was nothing that could have been compounded on this planet Earth. It had other mixtures of metal into it, and it was encased in, like in a, I would say like a scar tissue.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I have something in my thumb yet, and it's I can feel it, and I told the doctor about it, and they said, "Well, that could be just, does it bother you?" I said, "Not really. It's put in an area where it doesn't bother me, but it's still there, and I don't know what that is." But to go, while we're in implants, I had an implant in my left, muscle area just above my ankle, my left ankle on the inside, and I saw a little red hole. I dug on it, and then all of a sudden something black come out. It was odd shaped, and it was weird, and I put it in a plastic bag. I took some pictures of it, and I actually had a small microscope, and I looked at it. It actually looked like brain neurons that was coming off of it, and it was ugly looking. And I showed some other people that were in investigations, and they said, "Oh my, that's ugly looking." And I didn't get a picture of that part of it, but I did get a picture of it. Looked like a little piece of charcoal, like I've seen others have. Other implants were like the dark charcoal looking stuff. I guess that's more body friendly to us and disappears quicker when you get it out of the body. But what the implants are for, I think they're for locating you, and also they're actually, going into our DNA and maybe making small changes to our DNA as we go. That's the only two theories I can think of. But from what I saw, it's made for them to follow me because they know where I'm at.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've noticed. And also, I kind of have a funny feeling maybe they're also reading your mind off of it too.
Right. Yes, they know what you're thinking, and I don't know. I've had my computer hacked several times, and I took it to a real good computer forensic guy that worked for the police, and the computer was completely hacked. And he said it was a job that was very professional, and he said that he couldn't tell me any more. He said it would cost me, several $100s or more to get it, to repair it. But yeah, they hack into your computer too, because I just had a picture thrown on my I guess picture file on my phone, in which doesn't belong there. It wasn't my picture, so they can actually get in control. I don't know if hackers can do the same thing, but ETs can do that too, or whoever's working with ETs, Men in Black or whatever. I've never met MIB, but my brother-in-law and my sister, who lived just down the street from me, said they saw a man in black in a field right behind my house, and his coat was waving in the wind. It was just about ready to storm, and they told me that. And my mom said, and she lived down the street from me, so I had family on that one street, so they was able to see this, and I didn't see it. They didn't call and tell me or anything, but I've never seen the MIB, but they did. But I think that's, like you said, they track you that way. And why they watch over certain people, I keep asking myself, why me? I've seen 5 close-up UFOs. I don't know how many people have seen that, but I've seen 5 of them up close. And it's like I explained the toy top, the little chunky thing that looks like a toy top. Like I said, I've seen that. I was in the refinery, and I was a supervisor there, and I saw a glider, silver, completely silver, metallic metal. It had wings, and it just had, I'm not too, I guess, keen on aeronautical engineering, but it just had a fin going up in the back. It had no mode of propelling, no sound, no engine, no nothing. It passed right by me when I was standing up on a tower about 100 feet or so, and I was able to get real close to it, about 50 feet away, and it turned and went to the south. And with the laws the way they are, you cannot fly anything in or around the refinery. So that thing was out of place by our laws. Of course, they don't follow our laws, but I thought to myself, that was mysterious. That wasn't normal. There was no cockpit. There was no engine, no noise, just as smooth as can be, and it just went south. And I called the guys on the phone down in the control room. Said, "You guys need to come and see this." They said, "Oh no, it's Dave again with those UFO stories." And I had to kind of laugh, but I was mad at the same time because it's something that I saw, and it was for real. And also, they not only read your mind, but they leave you some samples of time in your mind. I was left a sample of the refinery closing, and they were putting millions of dollars in the refinery. And I told the guys it's going to close because I remember walking through the refinery, checking everything out, walking in the control room, and it's completely empty. All the lights were out. And they called me nuts, and I was crazy and everything else. And then 9 months later, the refinery closed. And I think they were kind of shocked. But they left that whatever it was, a drone, ET drone, whatever it was, left that memory in my mind, and I had that as a vivid dream. And they can actually put vivid dreams in your mind, and you can recall them. If you're lucky enough to recall them, you can do that. I've had several vivid dreams that I can recall, and it's part of a regression.
I got to ask you a question. You know, I'm sure you know who Calvin Parker is.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Interesting abduction story. But you know what I've been hearing from a lot of people that were abducted is that they all been telling me kind of the same thing, that it wasn't a friendly experience being abducted. They also had a distinct feeling that they got from their abduction that these aliens, that at least they've been abducted with, are not here to help mankind. They're basically kind of like evil, that they're out actually maybe looking at it at like maybe not destroying our planet, but they're not here to help us. Have you got that feeling?
No, they said something like there's 56 different kinds of aliens or different races, and I think I've had a couple of them that I've been dealing with. These are more peaceful, more spiritual. I'm not hurt. I'm scared. Oh yeah, I'm scared out of my wits, but I was not hurt by them. I think some people experience abductions differently. I think because there's maybe different ETs that are involved. Some are mean and some are spiritual. I really think, you can go back to the spirituality thing 2,000 years ago, but I don't want to go deep in that either. But it's something that I felt more spiritual after these incidents. I really did. I felt like something really happened that was meant for me to see and observe. It's something that I feel that I'll always remember. I'll never get it out of my mind. I can give you dates and times on the rest of my stories. It just burned into your mind what happened. In 1996, the first alien I saw, I thought it was my adopted daughter coming in for aspirin into our medicine cabinet. We had a couple of bathrooms, and I saw a shadow on a mirror, and it was dark in the room, and I hollered out her name. It wasn't her. And then this whatever come up to my side of my bed, and I looked at it. It was only about 4 feet tall, and it had the most wrinkled face that you can imagine. I see these little grays in some of this artwork, but this thing had a lot more wrinkles than the ones I've seen in artwork. And I thought, wow. And the eyes, he didn't have the black lenses over his eyes. His eyes were big with white pupils and a real big dark center. And apparently he didn't have those lenses because it was dark. Maybe that's when they wear their lenses and when they don't. It all depends on the lighting. But this thing looked at me, and I woke up and looked at it. I was on my elbow looking at it. And I felt fear for about 2 or 3 seconds. Then all of a sudden I felt peace, and then I laid down, and I woke back up about an hour or so later, and my eyes were twitching. I mean, they were going 100 miles an hour. I asked my wife if she'd seen or heard anything, and she said no. So, and I thought, oh my goodness, that's the first alien I come face to face with. Even though, the first UFO I saw, I didn't come face to face, but they must have really put us out because my buddy, he doesn't remember anything from that first event that we had. So it's different for different people, I guess. You can take 2 people, and they can both be abducted at the same time. One might have a different experience. One may be completely out and don't remember a thing, in which I think a lot now is they're really putting us mostly out. They don't want us to remember much, but there are some regressions that you have, some vivid dreams that has come to me, and some of them have scared me, and I woke up, but I was able to see the whole dream, and I was able to actually see what some of the abductions were about. But yeah, it gets to be a little scary when you actually see one right next to you. So I think what happened there, I'm not so sure. It could tie in with this Japanese young lady that I ran into in Sedona. That I know a couple of different times I've had semen extracted. I actually saw the hose going down between my legs, and I tried to kick it away. One time it was in Sedona. And Sedona is a good place to go if anybody really wishes to see some energy and feel some things there. But I've also had another one, like you were talking earlier, Gary, about they replace the ET's face and features with friends or people that you're familiar with. Well, there was a friend of mine that he was going into my groin area, and I knew who he was, and then I just fell back to sleep. And but they do this cover. They mask, who they really are, and they read your mind, and they can pick out things they want to put there. It's totally controlling, and it's just scary that they had that much control. So you got to go with the flow.
Well, Dave, but here's my concern. Okay, if they're abducting people against people's wishes, if you went and decided you were going to abduct your neighbor, for example, you're going to go to prison for a long time. If you take them across state line, you're really going to go to prison for a long time. My concern is I have pictures that some of these abductions must have gone wrong because, as the cattle mutilations, You know, the sex glands.